Hi, and welcome to the Blue Ridge Biker Channel. I'm glad you're here. My name is Tim, and I do videos, anything to do with motorcycles, and today it's about riding off pavement. Not necessarily off road and dirt, but gravel roads, sand roads, roads with potholes, washboard, and worst of all, the ones that have erosion with ruts. Those are the worst, gotta be. I recently saw a video of someone who had never ridden off pavement before, not even on a dirt road. And they took a scrambler off road, and I think they've done a fantastic job being the first time. They really did. And it reminded me of why I used to really enjoy riding dirt roads. And the main reason is because of the scenery. You see a lot of things you don't ordinarily see, things you definitely don't see always on the interstate. And that is farms, cows, horses, barns. I'm into barns, old barns, because that's something that is disappearing quickly. Old barns. We're not as much of an agricultural country as we used to be. The town I lived in used to be very agricultural. And it still is on the western part of the county and some on the eastern, but not nearly as much as it used to be. But really enjoy the scenery of the old dirt roads, the old farmhouses and so forth. But anyway, this person on YouTube, you probably watch her, it's Jess. I hope she don't mind me name dropping, but Jess on her two wheels had never ridden off-road before. And like I said, let me put these windows up now. She did do a beautiful job. And by the way, I'm at work. You can see I'm not on my motorcycle. I don't have my helmet on. And I wished I did. I really do. I wished I was on the bike right now, but a man has to earn a living. And driving a truck is the only way I can do it right now. And guess where I am? Just guess where I am. I have mountains to the left of me, mountains to my right. That's right. You guessed it. Nowhere else could I be but none other than the beautiful Shenandoah Valley in Virginia. Just a few miles south of Harrisonburg, as a matter of fact. And I don't know if this camera would do justice, but as you can see, there are some mountains over there to the west, to that side of me. And back there, if you can see, and also to the other side. So yes, I'm not just pulling your leg or kicking your tire. I truly am in the Blue Ridge, or near the Blue Ridge Parkway, but in Shenandoah Valley. If I can just set my camera back in here. Virginia is a no-hands state, so I must do this with no hands. But yes, I'm pulled over, I'm not driving. So DOT, relax, I am safe. But as far as riding off pavement, I say riding off pavement, I'm not talking about motocross. I'm talking about adventure bikes, or dual sport bikes, or what we used to call enduros. Bikes that are street legal but can go off-road. Now, I started off in the dirt, and the reason is because I didn't have a license. I couldn't drive on the road. And I've had several bikes. My very first bike actually was a street bike I rode off-road. It was a 1964 Honda Dream with the big flared fenders and little chrome sides on the tank, and had the rubber on the side of the tank where your knees are, and speedometer was in the top of the... you just have to see it. Just look up a Honda Dream. Had a shield completely shrouding the chain. And now that you've seen where I'm at, I can close the windows, and you won't have to look through bugs through through the lens. But I did a lot of riding on trails. Never did do any racing. I wished I could have. There was a town, actually a town where my mom was from. Somebody opened up a motocross track, or more of an endurance track, enduro, and I wanted to race there. But, well, this town used to be an old gold mining town, and there are places where there's vertical shafts going down for fresh air into the mines, and where they brought the ore out, they had to pull the ore out up the vertical shafts and places, and some places they had little carts, they pushed it out. But it was all below ground, so they couldn't push the cart out. They had to lift it up, straight up vertical, and they had to have air down there, so they had vertical shafts, and it really wasn't a safe place to be out riding a motorcycle, really. The track is no longer there, and but anyway, I used to ride a lot on some dirt roads. I had a friend of mine that had a little Bultaco, and it was fast to be as little as it was, believe it or not. It really was. I don't know what the engine size was, maybe 100, 125 possibly, but it was fast, and it was a dirt road with large gravel on it, and I would go down it wide open, and the bike would do 65. And the first thing you notice when you ride off pavement is how light the front end feels. It's because, well, it's loose. You're on loose gravel or sand or rock, and so the front end does feel loose. And the best thing to do is have a light grip on the handlebars. Hold the handlebars, stay control of the bike, but have not a death grip, but a light grip on the bars, and just let the bike and suspension work under you and let it do its job. And if you hold the bars a little more firmly, give it a little bit of gas, and the back end may come around just a little bit. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. A little power slide. When it does that, if the back end comes around to the left, turn the wheel a little bit to the left. In other words, you still want to steer in the direction you want to go. Make sure you steer in the direction you want to go. And I read some articles where people want to lower their tire pressure when they're off-road to increase traction, and yes, it does. When I first heard that about lowering tire pressure on a dirt bike is going through mud or soft dirt. It doesn't help increase your traction and gives you a little better ride off-road. But what if you're on an enduro bike, on an off-road bike, adventure bike? What do? If you want a bit more traction, you can lower your tire pressure, and it's up to you how much. I would refer to your owner's manual. I always refer to your owner's manual on tire pressure, and I like to stick with the OEM tires, the tires that the factory recommends, and that way you go by the tire pressure in your owner's manual and on the little sticker on your swing arm. If you change tire pressure, or change your tire size, you want to go by the tire pressure on the sidewall of the tire. But I always like sticking with a stock tire. I did switch one time. I had a 78 Honda CB 750K, and I did buy a smaller profile front tire, and it did, boy, that bike was wanting to lean then. It just leaned a whole lot easier. But all in all, I would recommend just sticking with the stock tire pressure, because anything you do is going to affect the handling, which it did. Is going to dramatically affect the handling of the bike. And these companies put in millions of dollars of research and R&D, research and development on these motorcycles to determine what is the best tire size, what is the best tire pressure, and so on. And so I like to stick with the factory. When buying a used bike, I like to stick with one that's mostly stock, if possible. Because they may have done some things that I didn't want to do, and you don't know who's been wrenching on it. So it's best to keep one stock and it's well maintained with records. But to get back to tire pressure, if you do lower your tire pressure to go what I call off pavement, going to a dirt road, a farm road, a forestry road, and in my state, North Carolina, and also South Carolina, you get very much east, all of a sudden the terrain changes dramatically. The elevation drops quite a bit, and you notice that the fields plowed are no longer dirt, they're sand, and all the roads are no longer dirt, they are also sand. Some is packed sand, which is good to ride on, or packed dirt, but the ones with the big rocks, that's a different story. It takes some getting used to. It's a little unnerving at first if you're not used to it, but just practice. I mean, that's what I say about everything, practice. If you're learning to ride a motorcycle, it's best if you can spend at least an hour a day, every day or more, just riding on different terrain, different traffic patterns. But if you go off-road and you do want to lower your tire pressure a little bit, it does work, because it flattens out the bottom of the tire that has contact with the road and gives you a little bit more contact patch, bigger contact patch, which gives you better traction. But as a truck driver, I also know all too well that driving down the road on pavement, on a super slab or anywhere on pavement, with lowered tire pressure greatly increases friction. Friction greatly increases temperature, which can cause a tire failure. Can cause separation of the cords in the tire, and can cause a severe tire malfunction, which you do not want to do. So if you do go off-road and lower your tire pressure, by all means carry along a small portable air compressor, which you can get almost anywhere, small enough to put in a saddlebag, a backpack, a tank bag. And before you go back onto the hard surface, before you go back on the blacktop, whether it be asphalt or tarred gravel or the super slab, which most of them are concrete, increase your tire pressure back to the recommended tire pressure, because I don't want anybody to have a tire failure because you're running the super slab with 20 pounds of pressure in your tire, or 25 in the rear or whatever. And it's going to greatly affect the handling of your bike on pavement. It's going to really feel loose. They're not good. Do not ride a bike on the pavement, on the street, a public street, anywhere with lower tire pressure. So that's just a little reminder, a little tip to try to help keep people safe. That's my job here. I do have several years experience. I'm no better than anybody else. There's probably riders out there younger than me that could run rings around me on a track. They can lean with their nails or their knees scraping the track and their butt hanging half off the seat better than I can. I'm keeping my seat firmly planted on the seat. Anybody that hangs off is not really a professional rider, not a good rider. If they do it on the street, if you do it on the track, that's fine. On the street, there's no place for that on the street. We're not out here racing. We're out here to have a good time, and I love having a good time. And I've rode up here in the Blue Ridge Mountains and up in the Shenandoah Valley before. I had friends up here near Waynesboro, and I've lost contact with them. It's been several years. I originally met them at a biker church in North Carolina, in Broadway, North Carolina, as a matter of fact. That's near Sanford, which is not very far from the geographical center of North Carolina, which is Star. Star is the geographical center of North Carolina and is right in the heart of the pottery, North Carolina pottery. So if you ever want to come to North Carolina, you can check that out. But as far as the small compact air compressors, J&P Cycles, I'm sure everybody's heard of them, good company. They have I think it was a 90-day return warranty, if I'm not mistaken, on their small air compressor. It was $34.99. And if they don't have it in stock, you can get it, the same exact one. It says Stop and Go air compressor from Amazon for only $3 more. If you get it from Amazon, it's $39.99. You can get a different brand from RevZilla.com and Advance Auto, many different places. But yeah, if you want to go off road, that's great. If you want to go off pavement, that's wonderful. And explore some of these dirt roads, some of these old, some farms some may be abandoned, some may be still working farms, but just a change of scenery, it's wonderful. But get a small compact air compressor that leaves a small footprint in your saddlebag or backpack, but so you can increase your tire pressure back to normal, back to factory recommended pressure for the road, so you can get back the confidence of having a good controlling bike on the street, because it's not going to be a good ride with lower pressure on the street at all. Just could lead to an accident or catastrophic tire failure. But everybody be safe, be good. Thanks for checking in. Check back with me often. I'm off work tomorrow and this coming Saturday, so maybe doing some more videos then. And remember, life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. Thanks a lot. This is Blue Ridge Biker. See you down the road.